We tend to think of artificial intelligence as this objective thing, right? Pure math, pure logic. But what if it's actually inheriting some of our oldest and ugliest human biases? What if the code we're all so excited about is just becoming a new, high-tech way to enforce old injustices? Today, we're going to dig into how our past is literally programming our future.
And look, this isn't some far-off hypothetical problem. This actually happened. Back in 2015, Google's super smart AI made this incredibly offensive, dehumanizing mistake. Now, the company apologized, they said they'd fix it, but get this. Research showed that even 8 years later, the root problem wasn't fully solved. This one incident, it was a huge wake-up call. It showed us there was something deeply wrong at the very foundation of how we're building AI.
It's so easy to just dismiss this as, a simple bug, a glitch in the system. But what if it's not? What if it's a symptom of a much bigger systemic problem, a kind of ghost in the machine that we, the creators, accidentally put there? That's the real question we need to unpack. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to connect the dots between our history and our technology. And to do that, there are a couple of big ideas we need to have on our radar first.
First off, let's get on the same page about systemic racism. This isn't about one person being prejudiced. It's about biases that have become so baked into the fabric of our society, in our laws, in our housing policies, that they just keep creating inequality, almost on autopilot. And now we're seeing it seep into our technology too.
And that brings us to this really powerful concept, the new Jim Code. Dr. Ruha Benjamin coined this term to explain how these brand new, supposedly neutral technologies can actually become the new tools for old discrimination. The AI learns from the world we've built, and if that world is unequal, the AI doesn't just see that inequality, it can amplify it and at a scale we've never seen before.
So how does this really play out? How does a bunch of code actually learn to be biased? Well, a pretty recent study took a hard look at one of the core beliefs in the AI world, and what they found was honestly pretty disturbing.
In the AI industry, for the longest time, the mantra was simple: bigger is better. Just get more data, build a bigger model, throw more computing power at it. The thinking was, if you just feed the machine enough information, you'll eventually smooth out any weird biases and get something that's really objective. Well, it turns out that whole idea might be dangerously wrong.
Because here's the catch. Where does all that big data come from? Mostly, it's scraped from the internet. And the internet is basically just a giant, messy reflection of us, our society, with all of our stereotypes, our historical baggage, and our ingrained biases. So what happens when you train a bigger, more powerful AI on an even bigger slice of our messy, biased world? So researchers decided to put this to the test. They took a bunch of AI vision models and trained them on two different sized data sets. One was large, and the other was absolutely massive. Then they showed these AIs a standard set of photos of people from different races, and basically just asked, hey, what do you see here?
Okay, take a look at this. These heat maps show us exactly what the AI was thinking. The rows are images of people, grouped by race. The columns are different labels the AI could assign. And the brighter the color, the more certain the AI was about that label. And, well, you can see for yourself. There are some very bright and very troubling spots where the AI is extremely confident about applying some really harmful stereotypes. Now this is the finding that flips everything on its head. It's completely counterintuitive. For the smaller AI models, adding more data actually helped. It made them less likely to label Black and Latino men as criminal. But for the bigger, more powerful models, the exact opposite happened. More data didn't fix the bias, it supercharged. And we can put a number on that. For those big models, just by scaling up the training data, the chance of labeling a photo of a Latino man as a criminal jumped by a staggering 69%.
It gets even more extreme. For one of the largest models, it labeled images of Black men from the dataset as criminal nearly 100% of the time. Think about that. The model had learned the Black as criminal stereotype so deeply from the data that it applied it almost every single time. This is the new Jim Code in action, right here in the data.
Okay, so those findings are pretty grim. They show that our current approach of just scale it up isn't working. In fact, it could be making things much worse. But the story doesn't end there. Recognizing the problem is the first step. And thankfully, a lot of serious work is being done to figure out a better way forward.
It's so important to remember this. The AI isn't born racist. It's a mirror. It just reflects the data we feed it. So the real challenge isn't just to build smarter AI. It's to build it inside a framework that demands fairness and justice right from the start.
And one of the most promising ideas out there is the White House's blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights. It basically lays out 5 core principles that should guide any automated system, all designed to protect our civil rights in this new age.
Now, all 5 of these are absolutely vital, but let's just zoom in on the one that hits this problem head-on, the principle of algorithmic discrimination protections.
And this isn't just some vague mission statement. The blueprint gives us concrete steps. First, do proactive audits to check for this stuff before a product ever gets released. Second, stop just scraping the whole internet. We need to intentionally build and use data sets that actually represent the communities the AI will impact. And third, and this is a big one, we have to actively look for proxies, things like zip codes that seem neutral but are often just stand-ins for race, which can lead to discrimination all the same.
So, where does that leave us? We've seen just how easily our most advanced technologies can soak up our most ancient biases, but we've also seen that this isn't a foregone conclusion. There is a path to doing this right.
If there is one thing to take away from all of this, it's that AI isn't magic, and it's not some objective force of nature. It's a mirror. It holds up a reflection of the data we give it, the rules we write, and the society we've built. And right now, that reflection is showing us some very ugly and very familiar truths about ourselves.
In the end, the biases in our algorithms are just our own biases scaled up. So the real question isn't whether AI is going to be biased, it's whether we'll have the courage to fix the societal biases it's reflecting back at us so clearly. The code for our future is being written as we speak, and the values we choose to embed in it or choose to ignore are going to define the world for a long, long time to come.